Welcome to episode 4 of the FarmED podcast. I have the pleasure to be sat here today with Ruth West and Francesca Price from the Oxford Real Farming Conference and Real Farming Trust. Welcome Ruth, welcome Francesca.
Hello.
I'm also sat here with Fiona Mountain from Cotswolds and FarmED.
Hi there.
So today let's spend a little bit of time chatting about where did the Oxford Real Farming Conference come from and the Real Farming Trust. How does it fit together? What was the vision, Ruth, of you and Colin?
Well, actually, it started off with conversations down the road from here in Cheltenham with Graham Harvey many years, 12 years ago or something like that. And he knew Colin way back from when they were both journalists on either Farmer's Guardian or the
Farmer's Week.
Or Farmer's Week. I should know, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
But they were together for a while, and Graham thought it was really time that we presented an alternative voice to industrial agriculture, which was so dominating the scene. And he said the place to do it is, did you know that this thing that happens every year? It's been going on for about 60 years, which was 10 years ago then, in Oxford in January. And we should set up some kind of fringe event to this. And we had another meeting about it, as one's inclined to do. And then, being somebody who likes action, I said, well, let's just do it then. And so we set about the first Oxford Real Farming Conference. We had the title for it because we had a campaign website called the Campaign for Real Farming.
Yeah.
And so it was naturally then the Oxford Real Farming Conference. And we thought the whole point was to be in their face. So I chose a place as close as we could be to where their event was held. And we thought, let's just go for an afternoon. And we sent round an email to everybody we could on our mailing list, really. And about 100 people turned up. And we had a bucket out there for contributions to pay for the cost of the hire of the room. And we had our first half-day Oxford Real Farming Conference, which was quite extraordinary because it was the things I've always worried about the Oxford Real Farming Conference is floods and snow. So you can't hold it. Because the first one, it snowed. It absolutely... About 4 o'clock it started, and people started looking at their watches. And the farmers started to say, better get back now. So in the end, there were about 20 of us left out of the 100. And some even couldn't get out of Oxford, including Graham, who had to stay overnight for a couple of nights, which he said he greatly enjoyed. And that's how it was born. And then we thought, well, we better do it again. And then we thought we better do it again. And it gradually started getting bigger. And what we had hit, actually, was a really extraordinary time in farming. Actually, it was just right.
Yeah.
But the important thing to remember as well about it is that it is in the face of the other farming conference, and that's so important to it because we are giving out a different message, actually. And ever since that, when we started getting more and more popular, people started saying, well, why don't you just join together? We said, well, that actually is not the point. Really, the point is
an alternative
to
is crucial here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so it carries on, doesn't it? Every year it is exactly the same 2 days as the Oxford Farmers Conference.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Ruth would better tell you when. At some stage, of course, the Oxford Real Farming Conference started to get more people than the Oxford Farmers Conference.
How many does it attract now? How many do you get people? So how many came to this year?
Well, we can say our capacity for next year is going to be 1,400.
Wow.
So, but we've been at 1,000 for the last, ever since we moved to the town hall. And first of all, the idea was that it would be like the Edinburgh Fringe, because I was thinking, well, we'll just be the box office. So we'll have go on holding our event in the library. And then people can say, well, I want to come and hold my own event. And so we would just sell the tickets. But the farmers and others come and said, no, we actually want to be together and feel that we're a movement.
Yes,
So then we moved to the town hall because that was the only place that could actually accommodate us.
Okay.
And then since then we just started adding in other places around the town hall to accommodate the growing numbers.
I mean, the appetite is enormous. So this year we sold out in about 12 days.
Good grief.
And we could have filled, those tickets over and over again. So we are, again, this year looking at expanding, and we've just been in Oxford looking at bigger rooms for next year as well. But of course, it's got to stay in Oxford because
Yeah.
we've got to stay in the face of the Oxford Farmers Conference.
Okay.
But it is, as Ruth says, it's really sort of become now the meeting point for, you know, a lot of people who are really interested in food and farming of a particular
It's
type.
gone beyond. It's not just farming, is it? It's very. It's growers and people who are interested in food.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. And sorry.
Yeah, but we say at least 50% must be practicing
Yes.
farmers because
Yeah.
that's just so important to it. It's I keep saying it's a farmers' conference, so it's
Yeah.
not an NGO conference. it's
yeah.
No, I think I've been for the last 5 years, and it's not. Yes, it's alternative farmers, but it's mainstream farmers as well, picking up new ideas and being inspired, and light bulb moments, as well as maybe slightly alternative fringe farmers. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So, what were the highlights of this year's?
Well, actually, just off the back too of what we were talking about there is that this year we reinstated the opening ceremony because there was a sense in talking to the delegates who were coming along that had been missing from the year before, that they wanted this feeling of coming together as a movement, of seeing everybody in the town hall there and saying, here we are, we've got some clout, look at us all, and we can actually, you know, set the agenda, not just for the next 2 days while we're here, but set the agenda for the coming year, you know. So we did that, and that was quite spectacular because we had an offer of these incredible drummers called the Shumei.
They were amazing. They were absolutely amazing and very, they were captivating, weren't they? They were fantastic.
And they were farmers.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, really?
And they're already here. We want to put that in.
Yeah.
They were farmers.
They
were
not-
farmers.
We did not fly them in from Japan. They were here.
So the Shumei agriculture, Shumei International is a whole system of approaching life. So it encompasses culture as much as it encompasses agriculture. And so the songs that they're playing are songs that come from their observations of nature.
Yeah.
So the last one that you heard that closed the opening ceremony was about the harvest. So they're not, 2 of them are full-time farmers, 2 of them are part-time farmers. So yeah, so it was fantastic. So that was a highlight. I think everyone really enjoyed that. We had a fantastic session by Leah Penniman, who was the black farmer from New York State who came over. She's really talks about the need to bring more people of colour into farming, and she has these fantastic stories about how when the slaves left Africa, their grandmothers sowed seeds of their of the land into their braids, so that they could take them to where they were going. And that was a really fantastic session which got a standing ovation, but then carried on through the conference in a whole lot of different sessions. And then on to a third day as well, where we had a third day where people of colour came together to talk about the issues of farming within the UK for them. And then we had lots of sessions around climate change. We had sessions around the impact, the impact that we are having on the climate, the farmers are having on the climate, and how they can lessen that, but also the impact that climate's having on farming and how they can go about building resilience against that. So those are, we had about a dozen sessions throughout the conference on that. We also had a lot of sessions on access to land, which Ruth was right across, so I'll let you explain a bit more about that.
So, because one of your partners, is it Landworkers Alliance, a key partner for the conference?
Yes, yeah.
And is that all access to land, I guess? Or there are others?
Quite a bit of it actually, but they've also the Land Justice Network has very much taken up the theme of access to land. But the group that we're involved with is an EU-funded group, an Erasmus group, and there's 7 partner organisations, including Romania, and that's been doing something about innovative approaches to access to land. So for this year we had, you said it was 10 sessions.
Yeah, it was 10 sessions on access to land,
which went across the board, and it was really interesting because there was one hand you had the Land Justice Network, and they want to say let's take back the land, you know, and it's all about ownership of land. And then on the other hand, though, we had some farmers who actually owned large estates; they'd inherited it, and they were talking about stewardship of the land that they have, and how to invite farmers onto the land. And there was there's really quite a separation of approaches and ideas in this, actually. With those who are saying, well, if we manage the land well, that's really what matters. And the whole thing then about ownership isn't as important as actually how you care for the land. And if you allow farmers on, and there's it's a multifunctionality of land as well that really matters. That it's not just there to provide food, but it's a place for people to live. It's flood management and
it's
all
the
these
land
others.
sharing debate, I guess, and not land sparing. Yeah. And agroecology, where does that fit in?
Well, agroecology is the only thing that's in the agriculture bill at the moment, which recognises anything outside of orthodox agriculture.
It underpins literally everything that we're doing, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, so for that, but also for me, it's interesting because there are two spheres of thought about agroecology, the term. There's the way Colin likes to use it, and he thinks of agroecology as a form of practice, of farm practice. Which treats the whole farm as in ecological ways. But then there are the other agroecology, which says it has to include food sovereignty. Colin separates out food sovereignty, says agroecology, food sovereignty, and then economic democracy. And you get those three strands at the Oslo Farming Conference. But then people like Via Campesina would see food sovereignty as a part of agroecology. And food sovereignty means actually people being in charge of their own food supplies. So it's really quite a radical thing into it there.
Okay, brilliant. And new things happening. We're here at FarmED today, so we're very excited to be launching Oxford Real Farming Conference in the Field 2020. So a co-curated 2-day event in July this year here at FarmED at Honeydale Farm. And we're coming together, we're organising sessions, we're selling tickets, we've got camping, we've got great food. What sort of sessions will we be offering in July? There's a nice range again, isn't there? And why are we doing it? Fiona, why are we doing this event?
We're doing it to extend the experience of the Oxford Real Farming Conference, so people who want to get some sort of muddy boots experience, actually get out and discuss the things they were talking about at the Oxford Real Farming Conference, can actually go and experience it actually on a farm and with practical demonstrations, and talk to people actually in the field.
Yeah, so we'll be covering things like we've got agroecology, design workshops, we're looking at carbon footprint tools and metrics, maybe even basic butchery skills, how to add value to carcasses. Francesca, what's on your list? What's one of your favourites?
There's lots of fantastic. We've just been sitting here discussing the programmes. We're really excited because we're sort of fine-tuning it now. So, agroforestry design workshop would be great. How to keep bees. So we've got a fantastic local beekeeper coming in to give us lessons on that. We've got increasing the biodiversity on your farm. How can you identify the biodiversity that you have, and how can you attract more biodiversity onto your land? Heritage grains, which is a really popular topic at the moment. It's about growing, harvesting, and utilising those grains. And I think FarmED has a fantastic mill nearby that we might be visiting.
Yeah, well, we've got the new bread oven on the farm, and we've made contact with the local mill. So yes, we might be able to join those dots together, which would be very exciting. We've also got the CSA here on the farm, working with the kitchen garden people, so there'll be sessions on how to develop your market garden idea, or how to develop your community-supported agriculture venture. It'll be exciting. And Ruth has seed sovereignty as well. Can you say a little bit about that? Where does that fit into the workshop?
We've got the getting involved with the seed sovereignty programme, haven't we, in terms of like saving seeds and how you go about doing that.
Okay.
And then in terms of other, seeds are something that people are really interested in, so we're just looking at the different...
Seed saving, heritage wheats, maybe we'll be looking at, digging down into that a little bit. Well.
And also, the thing to me that's really exciting about the heritage grain story is the way in which farmers can use it to get off the commodity wagon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have a farmer along who's done just that with their family farm. Yeah. So he said there are now no lorries coming into the farm.
Yeah.
They're growing these heritage grains, and they're all being sold either locally, direct to restaurants, or to millers, or to bakers. And there's a wonderful rotation that's going as well, which is where pigs are really mainstays of that. And these are wonderful pigs. Sometimes they're kept in the woods as part of the farm, and then they just move them around. And so for soil fertility and everything else, it's all just absolutely fabulous. Yeah. And the thing is as well, is that they've saved the bill for all the pesticides, insecticides. It's something like £60,000. I mean, farmers know about this. Huge amounts that chemicals cost, and all that's just gone now.
Cool.
I think what's exciting for me about watching this programme to come together is a lot of those fantastic speakers and practitioners that we have at the Oxford Real Farming Conference each year will be coming here to give people that chance to actually go much more in depth into the topics that they deliver, in an hour in January.
Yeah.
And so, the things that we're talking about here will really give people the hands-on opportunity to go away knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing opportunity. And also we've got some fantastic speakers also booked for the evening, and also music and things. So it would be a wonderful time.
A celebration as well.
Celebration and
hopefully.
networking experience. And it's lovely because I think for a long time we've been hearing people saying, but I just need more time. I want to be able to spend more time with these people and to learn more. So this is the first time that the Oxford Real Farming Conference coming together with FarmED are able to do that. So it's really great.
Brilliant. Really looking forward to it. So listeners, that's on July 7th and 8th this year. There's still some tickets available, but selling out fast, I must add. But if it's success, maybe it's something we'll do more of. And that's maybe the last question, really.
Yes.
Where do you see Oxford Real Farming Conference in the next, 10 years?
Yes. These in-the-field events are just so important, I think, because we've been feeling for a number of years now that when people have said as well, this is fine, but they're all sort of, the sessions that can only be tasters.
Yeah.
So to have the opportunity to look in more depth at some of the topics, very, very important. And it's just such a wonderful place because it's on our doorstep here. And so I'm hoping we'll do many more. In a sense, the sky's the limit, because there's so much work to be done. And these times of transition for farmers, really, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And anything we can do to help through what we're good at, working with you and who've got the expertise on the farming side, to help more farmers. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, Fiona. This was episode 4 of the FarmED podcast. I'm Jonty Brunye. Join me next time for episode 5. Bye for now.